G'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. Alright, today we are making a dessert. One of my favourite desserts. I'm making a custard pie for the Americans, custard tart for us down here in Australia. And we're not talking the cheap one, which is the one you get in the bakeries with some sort of yellow junk in it. This is made with an egg custard. So without any further ado, let's get into it and you can see how it's done. Now, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to making pastries. I use a food processor. I don't want to waste the time doing it by hand. I do scratch make them, but use a food processor. So we're going to start with 2 cups of just plain flour. We're going to go with 3 tablespoons of white sugar. Now I'm just using a normal fine white sugar. You can use caster sugar or a super fine for the Americans. That's generally what recipes call for. I find it does not make a huge difference. The fine sugar just mixes in perfectly. And now we are going in with our butter, which is 150 grams, or roughly 2/3 of a cup. Right. And the secret is try and keep everything as cool as possible. With pastries, you want to keep everything nice and cool until you get to the rolling out stage, where you do want a little bit of warmth there, just so it doesn't crack up. All right, so we're just going to pulse this. We want to end up with a breadcrumb looking mix. There's that breadcrumb look that we're after. Now, in the old days of doing it, you'd do a rubbing method where you'd rub the butter into the flour and sugar. All right, next we're adding in some nice cold water. Just going to turn the power on. I have a 1/4 cup here. I may use it all, I may not. It depends on the temperature, the humidity, and all that sort of thing. So I just want to bring it together into a dough. Okay, from there that should form up into a nice dough, so happy to stop there. We're just going to flour the bench a wee bit. Take the food processor blade out. So now I'm just bringing it all in together. Okay, and there is our dough. From here, we're going to wrap it in plastic. So Glad wrap, saran wrap. Whatever you've got in your country of choice. Just going to wrap it up nice and tight, keep the air out of it. And we will pop that in the fridge. We'll let it chill for about 30 minutes. And that way everything can amalgamate together, and then I will bring it back out again, let it warm up for about 5-10 minutes, just so that it's not sort of hard when I try and roll it out. So a bit of flour for the roller, flour for the bench. Now, pastry cutter, saucepan lid. That's what I learned as a young fella. Still works a treat. Just lift the edges, tuck it down, and press in the corner. You want to make sure you've got no air underneath the bottom of it. All right, so I'm going to go through, roll the rest of this out, put them all in the pie cases, and they're going to rest in the fridge. I want to get them chilled again before they go in the oven. Nice chilled pastry. These ones have got pastry weights in them because I have them. These ones have just got rice in them. I've ended up making 2 batches. I've also got these ones in the muffin tins. So obviously, if you're just doing a normal sort of pie tin, you're probably going to get 2 out of the recipe. So you'd want to cut it in half if you're only doing 1, or else you can save the pastry for a second one. All right, so these are now going to go in the oven. They're going to spend probably about 10 minutes in there with the weights in it. The temperature is 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. So yeah, 10 minutes with the weights in them, and then 5 minutes without the weights. So I'll put them for the blind bake. Once they're finished the blind bake, and I just want a light blonde color to them. Don't want to start darkening them, because they've got to go in and bake again. All right, so once they're finished with the baking, then they're going to go back in the fridge and chill, and then we'll start in on the filling. All right, folks, time for the filling. Now, this is an egg custard, so of course the main ingredient is the eggs. Now, normally I'd crack them all in a separate bowl and then put them in, but these are off my girls, so I know they're fresh. 4 eggs, 2/3 cup of sugars, normally I'd use vanilla paste, but I'm very, very short on it, and I do not think I've got enough, which I don't. So about a tablespoon of vanilla extract, and just whisk that up. The next part's the milk part of the custard, and for that we've got to scald the milk. So we've got 1.5 cups of milk. Now this is a single amount. As I said before, I've made double of the pastry. So chances are I'm gonna need to make double of the custard, but we'll just see how one goes and then work out whether I need to double it up. It's much easier to work in the proper amounts and make a second batch. Okay. So we've got 1.5 cups of milk. I just used the skim milk because that's what I have. 1 cup of cream and 1/4 tablespoon of salt. Measured to my usual exacting standards. Okay, we just want a gentle heat on that. Just going to incorporate that together. Basically, scalding is we want to warm the milk up. We want to get it up to temperature. We want to get not to a boil. We just want to see small bubbles coming up around the sides and steam coming up off the milk. And that is scalded milk. We then use that to go across and temper the egg mixture. Not sure if it's showing on the camera, but we're starting to get a bit of steam rising up. And we are starting to get some small bubbles. Temperature of scalded milk is about 63 Celsius, about 178 in Fahrenheit. So just checking it. And there we are, we're at temperature. Okay, just give that a mix up before we add the milk in. And it wants to dance around. So, put the tea-towel down and I'll stop it moving. Now I want to add about 1/4 of the milk in, and that will temper the eggs. which is just warming the egg up and trying not to cook it. So you make an old-fashioned egg custard. If you get lumps in it, then you need to just sieve them out. It's where the egg's cooked off. But I can see this, that I haven't got any lumps in there, so it's good to go. So we can start filling up the pastry cases. As you can see, some of these caught a bit more colour than I'd like. So all we're going to do is grab a piece of foil. I just want to protect that edge. Keep the heat off it. Now they're going into a lot cooler oven than what we pre-baked at, about 300 in Fahrenheit, so 150 in Celsius. So there's going to be less of a problem. But yeah, and this one was really dark, and I just want to protect it. I don't want to come right up to the brim. Because the custard will rise a bit as it cooks and then settle back down. Lastly, a little bit of nutmeg. Now you want to cook these until they're wobbly in the center. You don't want to cook until they're firm in the center. That'll be overcooked. They will stiffen up once they come out. So we're going into that cool oven. They should be in there for a full-size pie about 35 to 40 minutes to get to that setting stage. For these small pies, it should be a lot quicker than that. I will put this lot in, and then I will fill up the other ones. And you can see why I didn't just go with a double batch straight away, because I've probably got enough here to fill up what I've got left. And here we are the next day. Now, custard tart, custard pie, whichever you want to call it, is like revenge. It's a dish best served cold. So it's been in the fridge overnight. It's all chilled down. Nice, beautiful cold. You can see how it's all set up nicely. I'm gonna dig my fingers in. All right. Have a look at that. And that is a magnificent egg custard tart. And of course, the all-important taste test. And that, folks, is as close to heaven as you're going to come on this earth. That is absolutely marvelous. Now, as I showed, the amount I mixed up in the custard, because I was doing the smaller cases, didn't come out with the same amount as the pastry. Covered all of them apart from two of the small ones. So I've just filled one up with some jam. This one here is a quince and feijoa jam that I made. Absolutely gorgeous jam, goes well with the cheese. So eating this cheese, I'll probably eat it with a nice mature cheddar cheese. All right, folks, there we go. That's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.